happy that you decided to join me. This has been an awesome process. Blessing to be alive and to be able to bring this content to you guys. Thank you so much for the reviews, for sharing this, for subscribing to the Field of 68 Media Network, the team that has helped me make this possible. I am extremely excited for our next guest, all SEC. He is I got a trivia question for you guys. He's one of the three players under Billy Donovan to have 3 27-point games in the season. I bet he doesn't even know who the other two are. But anyways, without further ado, I'm excited to get into this conversation, this spec into the life of our one and only number 24, Casey Lamar Prather. What's going on, Case? How you doing, my man?
What's going on, bro? Good to be here. Glad for you to have me out here. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Shoot, man, it's a blessing to be alive every single day. I think it's each and every day is the best day of our lives because the alternative is to not be alive. So I'm just grateful to be here and grateful to be seeing your pretty face again.
Hey, I am gorgeous, so it is a rare only on rare occasions are you allowed to see this face like this. So take advantage of it. I'll tell you that.
Man, your hair is long.
Yeah, man, it's been a long process, bro. Like it makes it easier not being able to get a haircut out here, so I just let it just go and just be as natural as possible, bro.
So you're from Jackson, Tennessee, and you're all the way in Israel right now. That's kind of far away. How is life over there?
I mean, right now it's not really life. I'm just sitting in an apartment and going straight to practice, and from practice back to the apartment, and just counting days until we have a game so we can at least leave the house and go somewhere else to play, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of beautiful place. I was lucky to be able to go around before this last little lockdown, so I was able to see the city a little bit, and man, I tell you, it's definitely beautiful. It's definitely a lot different than Jackson, Tennessee. I tell you that.
Has it warmed up over there a little bit, or is it still a little cold?
Man, listen here. I walk outside with flip-flops on with no socks. So
Hey, so that sounds amazing. Do you know the answer to that trivia question I just gave you, those other two players that have scored 20 points?
I do, but I just want to give Gator Nation a chance to figure it out for themselves. If they haven't already figured it out, don't do their due diligence and look it up. So that's it.
I'll give the answer at the end of the episode. But anyways, Casey, man, it's just an honor to have you on. How is your family doing? What has life been in Israel? I know, I was out there back from August until the beginning of October. I know Scotty Wilbekin is out there. Our boy Scotty is out there as well. Right. What is your experience? It's your first season out in Israel, right?
Yeah, first season. Being out here, I used to be in Australia, so so it's probably like one of the first times for me to actually get away from the island life in Australia and stuff like that. So it's definitely a blessing to be out here, man. It's definitely a good experience to be in a holy land and being able to place my feet on holy ground and just being able to learn about more that the city has to offer, as well as being able to play basketball. These last couple of years has been kind of tough for me just to stay on my feet and stay in the game and, actually play at a consistent level. So, coming out here was the first chance for me to actually be able to, get back in the rhythm, get back into playing basketball and doing the things that I love. So it's been great.
Yeah, I know you've been on a journey these last few years, but I'm sure they've help to mold you and just take a different perspective on life and just to experience a lot more gratitude. It really is a blessing what we've been able to do. Of course we can say we've wished we were doing this more or that more, or we had this or but in the grand scheme of things, man, we had no control over where we were born, over who we are, where we were placed in life, and just the fact that we were placed where we were and the opportunities to do what we've been able to do, and that we can share. Selfishly, I got a chance to share those experiences with you and get to see you grow as a man.
Right.
Get to see you grow as a man and as a player, and just so thankful being able to have you in my life. But anyways, what have you been doing the past time? Because I was in the lockdown over there, man. I could only play video games for so long. Like I read a book, an awesome book called Atomic Habits by
Right.
James Clear, and he talked about just how it's not necessarily about having self-discipline, but it's about forming these habits, writing them out, and forming the habits around your life, like the way that you already move in life, so it like flows naturally. So like I was able to just like have a routine for everything. So and I would keep my video games away from me until I went through my routine first, because I would
Right.
pick up that I have my Nintendo Switch, boy.
It's addictive.
You have nothing to do in the middle of nowhere. You just
Right.
like, well.
Right. I mean, for me, bro, I've honestly just been trying not to go crazy for number one. And I mean, it's kind of crazy because, you know, I see this opportunity as like a blessing in disguise as far as like actually preparing yourself for what you're going to do when, you know, basketball is not there, or when you're forced to deal with yourself alone. Like, how are you going to act? Like, what new habits are you going to pick up? What more can you do to, you know, properly invest your time and spend it wisely? So uh most of my time a lot of my time been going to video games, but as of late I've been trying to, you know, really uh indulge into the stock market a little bit more and just actually like
Okay.
learn more about it. I've been, you know, taking a couple courses about that. I've been taking a couple courses about real estate, as well as, you know, just reading, trying to strengthen my mind, trying to strengthen my relationship with God and my beliefs and things like that. So I think it's been pretty productive, just having this time to myself. You know, it's kind of hard sometimes just to be
Yeah.
still and not be ready to go on a move and rip and run like I'm used to doing. But, you know, I'm fortunate enough to be in a situation where, you know, I can relax. I can, you know, come back home from a long practice after having an injury for 2 years, to come home and to be able to recuperate and take my mind off just basketball and being able to, you know, focus on other things and other assets that I do have and try to build that knowledge for my future wealth.
I love that, man. I love that. It's definitely crazy because this world now, it seems as though people can't disconnect and just take time to like be with themselves. And
Right.
even though it's forced and it's not necessarily the way that we would have like looked for it to be, um, you know, it's really nice just taking time to cut the external stimuli, you know, turn the TV off, stop the news. I'm going to decide how I'm going to spend my time, I'm going to think how I think, and why do I think the way I think? Why do I believe? What can I do to sharpen my mind? What can I do to continue to learn? And it's really awesome to see that you're
Right.
taking that time to do that. So, Casey, let's take it back. Let's take it back. So we're 29 now, so we need to take it back 11
Hey, I'm
years.
old. Oh my God. Don't
Actually,
say that too
actually,
loud now.
we need to take it back. Say that again,
Don't say that too loud. You're gonna make me feel old now.
boy. 29. But let's take it back. Let's take it back to Tennessee, man. You know, what was your basketball journey like? Your upbringing, as far as like, when did you get introduced to sports? You know, who were the influences? How did you? Because I know you played multiple sports before you figured out, you know, basketball was the route that you wanted to go. So what was that journey for you?
Well, you know, I know my mom kind of jokes about this, but ever since I was, you know, a young baby, she used to have to put me in the middle of the aisle so I could stop, you know, actually throwing like objects that look similar to balls. So I would like get oranges and throw them, apples and throw them. So she figured out at a young age to put me right in the middle of the aisle. You know what I'm saying? So I guess that's when I was kind of introduced. I look at old pictures and I see myself with like little basketballs in my hand as a baby with a nice form and everything. So I guess I was introduced pretty early. I mean, it didn't really take on good effect until, you know, later on in life, where we ended up moving to a neighborhood, a pretty good neighborhood at that, a decent neighborhood at that. And then I had some friends, and they pretty much pushed me to become, you know, a sportsaholic. So any sports, anytime, we would do it. Like, we'll go to the locals neighbor's house and just shoot on their basket until they kick us off, and then we'll have to run to the field and we'll start playing football, or, you know, anything like that. But I guess around the time my mom got married to my stepdad is when I really, really, really picked up basketball. And at that time, I was playing basketball, football, I was running track. You know, I didn't know what I wanted to do. But then mom was like, listen here now, you're not about to be spending all my money playing all these different sports. You gonna sit down and pick one. And so, it kind of had me and my stepdad had common interests in basketball. So it kind of like fluctuated through there. And from there, my love of it became, substantial. I remember my 7th grade year, bro, when I was my 6th grade year actually. I was tall and I was on a basketball team, but I couldn't make a layup to save my life. Like I could be wide open on the other end with no one around me, with no pressure, just to go make a layup, and I couldn't make a layup.
One of those.
I was one of those. And then everybody was talking about me, of course. They was like, oh, you on a team because you tall, this and that. So that summer, it just motivated me more to become a better basketball player. So I gave up going to the movies, going to bowling alleys, hanging out with my friends, sleepovers, all those things. And I just strictly worked and worked and worked. And then the next year I was, second in the state, best player. So
in middle school, huh?
Yeah, middle school. So that's where it kind of started from.
Isn't that a great story in the sense of a lot of kids want to, a lot of people will respond to that situation, and it's easy to quit. It's easy to say like, this embarrassment, this feeling, I never want to feel this way again. So I'm just not going to play. I'm not good. So I just, it is what it is. I'm just going to do these other things that are easy. And you made that decision. I'm sure you had, Jeff, your stepdad had an influence of like, hey man, if you want to change things, you're going to have to make some sacrifices. Right. And because those things ain't going nowhere. We know this basketball life that we have in our, hopefully long 90-year life, whatever it may be, it's a short window. So it's like you can sacrifice a little bit now to enjoy the fruits later, and then see who's laughing then, who gets the last laugh then.
Right. I remember my stepdad. Oh, go ahead. My stepdad used to tell me, live life like no other now, so you can live life like no other later. And I guess that I kind of took that with me throughout my whole life, bro. Like ever since he came into my life, he just kind of preached that. And to me, that just kind of says that, no matter what, you got to put that sacrifice in, that work in, that those extra time. You got to sacrifice some of those things that you actually value as fun, and, pick on some, heartaches and some pain and some struggles and stuff like that to actually live like you don't want to, like no one else lives later. So I think that's where it really came from, my determination and my will.
It's just so sad because, nowadays, everyone wants to be seen. Everyone wants to be, is understanding like to sacrifice and to grind, to put that work in. That means like you're going under the radar, and it might be tough for a minute. You got to say no to a lot of people. You got to say no to a lot of things. Your life might be simple. It might be difficult. You might not see the results, but like you said, say that quote for me again.
Hey man, I'm gonna start having to charge you for these quotes.
Hey man, you keep throwing these nuggets. I'll pay for them.
The quote was, "Live life like no other now, so you can live life like no other later." And I believe that was from Tony Dungy or something like that he got from a book, but he swears to the day that he made it up, but I'm pretty sure it was from a book.
I'm mad you kind of just told me this now, and I've known you for like 11 years.
Come on, man, I can't tell you all my secrets now. You got to have a couple up your sleeve.
All right, if you say so. Anyways, I saw because I was looking up some stats, but you also never revealed to me you scored 53 in a high school game.
Oh, I was a bucket. 53, 41, 38, you name it, I done it. Like that was a bucket, bro.
Bro, you honestly are one of the best freakish athletes I've ever seen. So I can only imagine, when we got them young knees in high school, them young knees, them young everything, hips, ankles, ain't nothing hurting. You were probably a gazelle mixed with a lion, mixed with a kangaroo, probably jumping out the roof, out the ceiling, blocking every shot, grabbing every rebound, just like as well as Energizer Bunny, never getting tired.
Man, I wish I could go back to the days where I felt like that, bro. I'll pay for that. I'll pay exclusive amount of money for that.
Man, tell me about it. I miss those days, man. And it's funny because that's when it was just for the love of the game. It
Right.
wasn't about thinking about money or contracts or status. It was literally just like, hey man, I'm trying to win, have fun with my boys, and that's it.
Exactly. Exactly. That was all it was, bro.
So obviously you had a very good, really good high school career. What was your recruiting process like? How did that start for you when you started seeing the fruit of that as calls are coming in, and then when Coach Donovan made himself available to you? Run us through your whole journey.
I mean, to me, it was kind of weird, you know. I wasn't expecting, as a 16-year-old kid, 15, 14, however old I was at the time, I wasn't expecting, somebody to come in and say, hey, I want you to come to college and play for my program for free. Like where I'm from, it didn't really happen like that. I mean, you heard stories about the Duck twins, Tony Duck, people like that who were exceptional cases, but from my opinion, like I wasn't expecting that at all. I was just trying, like you said, I was just in it, having fun. I picked up a skill and I just loved it and I just ran with it. I remember my first offer. I actually was invited to come to an Ole Miss game my freshman year, and so we went to the Ole Miss game. It was crazy. The atmosphere was amazing. I believe they were playing like Vanderbilt or something like that in the SEC tournament maybe. And I was sitting there and I was just thinking I could just see myself on that court. And it's funny because everywhere I went, I was just like, oh, I can see myself on this court. But yeah, so Ole Miss was my first offer. And I walked away from that gym and that game and I was telling my stepdad, I was like, yep, this is it. I'm ready to commit. And he just like, whoa, 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 slow down. Like you only a freshman. Like more things are better to come. So just take your time. And so as the journey was going on, I started getting more interest in a lot of SEC schools. I remember it was times where I was getting recruited by North Carolina, a lot of ACC schools, and I had quite a bit of offers, so it was getting kind of overwhelming. I was getting a lot of letters, and I didn't really read the letters at this point because it was just too many by the same school. So I was just like, all right, well, let's just put them under the bed and not think about it because it's just becoming overwhelming. Then I guess come to my senior year when it was actually time for me to decide. So throughout that whole process, I just wanted to put everything behind me and not think about nothing. I just wanted to play basketball. And I guess my senior year, when it became time, I started, taking it pretty serious. And I just had to narrow it down to a Final Four, which I did. And it was Clemson, Vanderbilt, Michigan, I believe, and Florida. All great schools at the time. And so I remember Coach Diamond coming down, and all my friends were super hyped, talking about, "Oh, Coach Diamond come to your city. Coach Diamond came to the city. Coach Diamond came to the city." So you was excited. I was excited about that. So that added
For sure.
an extra level of I might want to go there. And then just talking to Coach Donovan, he seemed like a realist, and he kind of seemed more like to my stepdad than not. As far as like he was always pushing me to work harder, become better, instead of just promising me things that uh, hasn't even come yet. So he was just sitting on my couch telling me that, hey, when you come to Florida, it's not going to be an easy route for you. I know you're a great player, but you're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to, demand the time that you do get. And I guess to his credit, I was always a bit extra confident. So I was like, oh, I got to go prove him wrong.
Right.
And so that was the biggest selling point for me, just him being real and saying, you're not gonna be this, you're not gonna be that. I just had to prove it wrong, and I just wanted to prove it wrong. Then I went on my visit to Florida with you actually, and it was
Yep.
crazy. And it was crazy. And
Oh
after that, I was
yeah.
like,
I forgot
yeah,
about that. We sure did take a visit together.
yeah, we did. It was crazy. It was crazy. And like I was at that point, I was convinced. There was nothing else. It was only Florida. The weather was great. The college campus was great. The football game was great. the atmosphere after the football game was great. You know, I just had no doubts in my mind that I wanted to go to Florida and become a Gator.
Dang, I completely forgot about that. That we sure did take a visit together. I was already committed at that point.
Yeah, I think you committed like your
Yeah,
junior.
yeah. I was already committed. I just was ready to get. I was ready to get there early.
Right. I mean,
So
you look like you already played a year at Florida. How big you?
I was about two. I think I was about 230. I was trying to get to 230 at I'm my senior year, and now I can't. I'm still between like 245 and 255. I'm trying to slim down like you. I'm trying, but
I
my
saw you.
body just don't work.
I saw you at the NBA Top 100 camp, bro. After you had committed, and I was thinking about going there. I don't know if we talked or not, because I don't know if you knew who the recruits were or whatever at that time. But I saw you, and I was like, "What in the world am I getting myself into? Like, I'm about to go to college and play with this dude who is all of 6'9", 250, while I'm a puny 6'5", 175, 180 maybe." It's crazy,
And you
bro.
and you know what's ironic about that? Gator fans that are going to be listening to this, I actually broke Casey's nose, and I gave him a concussion.
Oh my God.
Yes, yes. The I think I broke your nose. You were trying to come around a screen. I don't even remember. Or some. I think that was our freshman year or in the summer.
It was
And
the summer
then
of the freshman year.
yeah, and I think junior year I hit you in the back. I tried to go for the rebound, and my elbow just caught you in the back of the head. And you had a concussion like a few weeks before that, so it wasn't good. And I was really sorry.
I'm pretty sure you owe me money or something. Like we need to ask these Gator fans what they think, but I feel like I need to be compensated for all the troubles that you caused over the past couple of years.
I would not be upset if it, as long as it wasn't too much. But how can you put a price on somebody's brain health? Probably not. But
I mean,
Casey, I remember, coming in freshman year, this was hilarious. It was you, me, Scotty, and Will. We were walking to the gym. I think probably from Springs, and it was the first time you heard Will speaking French. Bro, you was like, yo, what in the world are you saying, bro? Like, what?
Well, I had no idea what he was saying. Like I thought he was playing with me at that point. I was like, are you really trying to insult my intelligence at this point? Like, what are you doing? But nah, it was funny, bro. That was one of the funniest things. Oh my God, that was one of the funniest.
They have all that when they speak, like they got.
I'm from Jackson, Tennessee, bro. Small Jackson. Everybody speak Jacksonese where I'm from. It's no other language. It's just our language. Then going to Jacksonese. That's it.
So, with the mindset that you had a very good. It seemed like you had a great foundation mentally coming into Florida, as far as wanting to prove Coach Donovan wrong in a good way, like healthy way. Like I'm gonna show you, like I'm gonna work. I'm gonna do what it does when I get here. I put this work in the way my style of play, etc. What were your expectations when you came into Florida as a freshman?
To be honest, to do exactly what I did in high school. I've always been very, talented as far as like just having raw talent. I expected Coach Donovan and the staff to like actually, uh, polish that up for me a bit because where I'm from, we didn't really have no damn uh, personal trainers and all that stuff. And if we did, you had to go to Memphis and pay so much more money, da da da. But yeah, so I mean, I just honestly expected to go in there and just play like I did in high school and become better and win. That's all I really wanted to do. It was no more than that.
What were some things that took you by surprise, or because it's people don't get. I tell people all the time, they look at someone like Trey Mann when he came in as a freshman, this very highly touted freshman coming out of high school, McDonald's All-American, et cetera. And then freshman year struggle, big struggle, can't even get on the court. And I'm like, man, you guys don't understand. Like, there's a lot that comes into being able to, like, it's a big transition. Like, you're playing against a whole bunch of top players that are now at the top level. And then you got school, you got study hall, you got trying to have a social life, balance that out, figuring out who you are as a person, your identity. Two-a-day, we started in October 15th or 16th. I'll never forget because we always started two-a-days on Will's birthday.
Right.
And just all that stuff just culminating, and then you're like, man, like, this is a lot, so how do I see myself fitting in? So what were some things that, because we have our expectation level, and then we have the reality of where things actually are. And then in between there, because things don't get met, is when we run into some frustration or some doubt. Maybe we're just like overwhelmed because, like, man, this wasn't what I expected. So what was that like for you when you got there as a freshman?
I mean, for me, it was more about wanting to prove people wrong, like Coach Donovan per se, and expecting to do it by doing all the same things that I used to do. Not changing the result and how I proved him wrong versus, actually just doing it. And I feel like for me, that was my biggest issue going in. I think I was overly wanting to be optimistic about proving him wrong. He put me in this kind of category as being, a defender. And, I want to be a scorer. I was a scorer all my life. So it's like, what do you, like, what this not intertwining with what I want to do. Your beliefs for the team not intertwining to what I want to do for my profession, like for me as a person going forward. And I guess that was my biggest issue, just, going to college and just trying to stay the same person and not actually adjusting right away and not buying in, I guess, to the team's overall goal, because I really didn't understand it at that time. But it's funny looking at it now, because going through it, people were saying like, oh, confidence. But I actually believe that it was the opposite. I think it was too much confidence of trying to do what I used to do to prove him wrong. And then it came to a point where when I wasn't doing what he wanted me to do for the team, it started to reflect on my playing time. It started to reflect on my confidence as a whole after the fact. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So that's where I believe it all stemmed from. And, it took me a while to, like, actually, look myself in the mirror and say, you know what, you maybe do need to sit back for a second and actually, reanalyze what you're trying to do and who you want to be as a player in person. And, actually see what you are doing wrong and try to better yourself from there. And so that's why I think that, the biggest sacrifice came in for me was just taking a step back from my own self, from my own prerogatives, and actually trying to see what Coach Donovan is trying to say.
That was profound what you just said, man, and thank you for sharing that. But it's crazy, just how the confidence that you had, which and the belief in yourself, almost became a crippling tool, because it's like, you wanted to prove him wrong, but at the end of the day, he's the coach. You got to do what he wants to get on the court, in a sense. And maybe there could have been better communication, because of course we know that you're not just a defender, your ability, but he just saw your athleticism. And I remember when we were freshmen, we were playing one-on-one all the time. And I just remember, like, you, me, Scotty, and Will, you were the only person I would be intimidated of. Like, if you would get down in your defensive stance, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do here? I'm like, what am I supposed to do here? Like, he's fast, strong, active hands on the ball, quick feet. And I'm like, if this is how I feel, and I can connect it now, you could bring that ability, because that's something, Coach Donovan always says, like, we can't control the ball going in and out. We can only make sure you're doing the best rep, getting the best shot up,
Right.
good passes, getting the best rep. Once it's out of your hands, it's out of your hands. But the things that we can bring to the game each and every day is our effort, our attitude, and control. Like our identity was in our defense. Man, that senior year, bro, we were crazy on defense, bro.
Oh my God. I
People
have
don't
people to this day
understand.
still talking about it.
They don't understand. Like I remember watching them film one day because Coach Pelfrey. As much I hope he listens to this, but Coach Pelfrey was crazy about our defense, man. He was. I felt so bad for Dylan Graham, man. And Coach Pelfrey, he killed Dylan. He killed that man every day. But just his emphasis on that white line defense, and then I just remember in film one day, just seeing the entire team. Like we were like synchronized swimmers. How when the ball moved, all of us knew exactly where to go, each and every spot. 6 hands to the ball. I'm like, man, like we are truly locked in, and this is what it takes to win. And it was just so special. Like, and now like when I was playing, like after I left, going into the pros. I was in the NBA for a bit, so I got a chance to see how they do things there. It's a lot more spacing in the NBA. It's a lot harder. They, no defensive 3 seconds, or defense. You have the defensive 3 seconds. So then, the overseas ball is probably the most similar to kind of college basketball. And I just get just shake my head on the defensive schemes. Like it's like the coaches don't even try.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'll be like, is no one gonna bump the roller, like the roll man, or where's the rotations? Like we just gonna give up? We're just giving up wide open shots. Like we just don't care. Like
right. and it's crazy.
We got to make it hard on them.
It's crazy because all the things that Coach Donovan implemented is still with us. You know what I'm saying? Like it's still with me at least. Like I know how to play defense. I know how to help that roller guy coming down. I know to jump to the ball when a guy curl off the screen. Things like that. I know how to box out and do all those little things that, it takes to win. And I think that's probably why I've been able to help some of the teams that I have been on, just bringing his philosophies on defense and teamwork and the little things that, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to win with that.
So, Casey, you struggled a little bit to find some consistent, tying into what you had just said about your overconfidence and just a misalignment with you and Coach Donovan on the expectations, what he wanted you to play your role. You struggled a little bit trying to find consistent playing time. Never because you lacked the ability. Coach Donovan wouldn't have brought you there if you lacked the ability to do so. How did you, what was your relationship like with him through that process? Because, that after the junior year going to senior year, you put in so much work. Was there many facets I want to get into, through that process? Was there ever a moment where you're like, man, this might not be the place for me, or like maybe I need a transfer, or again, like you said, when you were a 6th grader, when things weren't going the right way, like, or 6th or 7th grade, you said like I was just a tall guy, but it wasn't good. Something just snapped where you're like, you know what? I'm not a quitter. I still got something to prove, and I'm going to prove it. And I'm just going to shut everything out. I'm going to work my butt off, and I'm going to make this thing happen. Like I know what I can do, and this is my time coming into this last year.
Yeah, I pretty much was like that. Obviously I had people in my ear saying, hey, if you transfer, you can do this. If you transfer, you can do that. And I've been having that since I was a freshman, going in after my freshman year. Everybody telling me to do this, everybody telling me to do that. But, like I said, I guess that moment where I was in 6th grade did kind of resonate with me again. It was just more like, hey, I'm here now. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. If I don't, I'm gonna die trying. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna give up on the opportunity that I do have, and I'm just gonna work as hard as I can to make myself just better every day and stop worried about the results and just constantly just chip at it every single day and just try to make myself as prepared as I could be. And I feel like when you do that, the results pretty much take care of itself, and the stress comes off of your back a little bit more, and you're able to be more free knowing that you actually put in work to prepare for something versus just trying to go in there and just do it. So yeah, I think that was my mindset throughout that whole process. And I feel like I was kind of, I can't say I was more alone doing that because, I obviously had you guys, and And I guess you guys were a big catalyst for helping me go through that process. But I felt like it was more about me just getting into my own little bubble, getting into my own little zone, and just trying to rectify those issues that I did have, and then try to just make myself better, even if it was 1%, 2%, 3% better each and every day, and let the results take care of it itself.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was a testament seeing you. I remember just even from the seeing you working on your form. Because you used to shoot a little bit from side to side. I mean to this day your form is like perfect. Your shooting form, like you would put in, I don't even know how many shots you would put in a day, just under the basket, working on your form every single day. To how you transformed your body with Preston, from being that skinny kid that you were as a freshman to now being, I mean, you still can beat me in a strong. You still can beat me in strong man in the summer. We ain't gonna bring that up.
No one can beat a strong man in the summer.
Hey, Jake the Snake got close. Jake the Snake got close.
Jake was like a pit bull with heart. Like, he would just go aggressively without even thinking of the outcome and not caring about the outcome. See me, I'm gonna take my time and analyze the situation before I just jump in. He's gonna go in all full throttle,
I hope Preston listen. I want to Preston. We're basketball players. Why?
I know.
Why did you do this to us? We play basketball. Like, have us ready for if we need to get stronger here or there. Like, why are we pushing trucks? Why are we flipping tires?
Preston, I literally had no neck. I was walking around like this the whole freshman year. Like, I was walking around like I was just tense and mad at everybody my whole freshman year. Like, I couldn't, like, I don't understand what he was trying to do. Like,
that's why people wanted me to play football. They was like, yo, like, Pat Young is like stuck. Like, he would be a perfect. He don't even need no pads. He could just go out there and hit somebody. So going into that tremendous senior season that you had, what were some of your favorite moments of that year?
My absolute favorite moment was walking off the court with all three of you guys, you, Pat, maybe you, Scotty, and Will, and we was holding up the sign, the SEC title sign, this and that, the undefeated in the SEC title, and we walked up the court. But before we walked up the court, we all like went down and kissed the Gator head and gave our respects to the Gator head, and that was just one of the most unreal moments that I had that year.
I'll never forget that, man.
Man,
I remember the reason, like, if people see that story, the reason I didn't have my shoes on was because my tape, bro. I don't know what happened, but after every game, my tape was just killing my ankles, and everybody was so hyped. I'm like, yo, can I get some socks? Can I get some socks? And everybody's so hyped. Ain't nobody giving me no socks. So I was like, well, I guess this picture's just gonna be tarnished with my ugly feet.
That's my ugly feet too.
What I know, I didn't want my feet to be in the picture. I couldn't stand the tape being on anymore. It just was what it was.
No, I feel you, but yeah, that was definitely one of the my favorite moments right there. Like that kind of like put in perspective all the hard work that we did from freshman year, from the beginning of that October 18th summer camp, summer training, whatever that we did. Like, that's when it all showed at that moment right there, and it was just kind of like a big relief off our back, just finally being able to say, man, we finally did it. We finally achieved something that we can say we did.
Yeah, because we were the only class that went undefeated.
Yeah, like the time before that, yeah, we had Vern and we had Chandler Parsons, and they helped us they helped us go to the Elite Eight and Sweet 16 and stuff like that. And then the next year it was like, all right, we got Brad too, which was a great player and stuff like that, but he wasn't really the core of the four or the five actually that came into Florida together. But that senior year, it was just like, man, all right, we did that. All of us freshmen, we did that.
Yeah, was there ever any doubt in your mind that we would, I try to tell people, like, we didn't go into the season like saying like, okay, we're gonna go undefeated and we're gonna do it. We literally just went like, one game at a time, one practice at a time. Like, we actually started the season off not in a great way because I remember we had the scrimmage against Georgia Tech and in that up in Atlanta or wherever it was, and we didn't play well, and Coach Donovan was like, I don't care about what y'all did last year, how good y'all were. You have to lay the foundation now. Right. And all that matters is right now. What you do each and every day, how you prepare for practice, how you take care of your body, fight for inches. And then the results literally took care of itself. Like I remember we were getting grades for each game. Like, we literally would get mad. Coach Felfer would get mad if we let a team score 50 points. Right. So we were just so caught up in each game, each moment. I don't think there was ever a time we were so like, all right, maybe when we were like, 14-0, we were like, okay, in the SEC, all right, we're like, all right, we got to we got to do something nobody else did at that point.
I mean, I always have in the back of my mind, especially when we start running off SEC wins and playing Kentucky and beating them and going to Arkansas and being down by like 13, 14 points and making that run and coming back, and then we beat them. I was just like, in the back of my mind, like, yeah, we're like that. We like that for sure.
Well, I hated going to Arkansas, boy. I hated going there. That's the only place I really hated playing.
Arkansas was tough.
One of my favorite games of yours was how you went crazy against Kentucky in Kentucky. Can you believe that they are 5-13 right now? By the way,
are they?
I can I
keep up with basketball.
5-13.
That just made my day. Thank you.
I hope so. And this will be the first time. The last time they didn't make the tournament was another year that they were preseason. I think they were preseason number 1, and they went to the NIT and they lost to Robert Morris. That was about like 7 or 8 years ago. Yeah. But let's transfer over a little bit. Well, first I'll make that the last question I ask you. So after we had a great year. You go on to same similar situation as me. We go undrafted. Right. That was like, all right, it is what it is. What's next? Not the end of the world, but we know we hoopers, we're gonna continue to play. You went on to the G League for a bit. Why did you decide just to not stick with that? How did you just make the decision to go to Australia?
It was a very easy decision for me. Went through the whole process. I think I was on like top 10 call-ups, like chance to be called up at that time. Like, I was getting a lot of interest from a lot of teams and stuff like that. And I was just thinking in my head throughout the whole season, like, man, it's finally about to happen for me. And then so I get to the end of the season and nothing happened. And my knees were aching. I remember it, bro, like it was yesterday. My knees were aching. I was in Bakersfield, California, where it's literally nothing there but like dirt. And so I was literally sitting in my little apartment, knees hurting at the end of the season, looking at my bank account, didn't really see no money.
Was flies coming out of your phone?
Man, it was just like, what are you doing even looking? You must just want to make yourself mad today. So I looked at my bank account, bro, and it literally was, I think it was zero, maybe like $5, $10 or something like that. And then I'm just thinking in my head, like, bro, I would never do this again. There's no way I'm doing this again. Like you said, you only got a small window to play basketball anyway. And why waste it, wasting the opportunity, the chance of getting hurt without making any money for it, At this point, it's all professional. It's all about money and trying to, build a substantial amount of money so you can actually provide for your family and make that money, make more money and do things with it. But D-League wasn't showing me any gratification when it came to that. So I believe.
How did the decision to go to Australia come about? Because I know you probably had different opportunities. And what led you to go to Australia?
I mean, well, Scotty was like just hyping me all the first year. Like when he was there in Cairns, he was just like, bro, you need to come out here, you need to come out here, you need to come out here. And I don't think he realized that it was in the middle of the season and, it's kind of hard to just leave a team to go to another team all the way in Australia. So that didn't work out. But luckily enough, that summer I was playing NBA Summer League, and I was getting a couple of interest from different teams throughout the world. Had some interest in the NBA, and Trevor Gleason, the coach from Australia, came to me in the locker room and asked if I can come have a meeting with him after the locker room, whatever, after the game. So I end up going to this hotel and having like a lunch with him or dinner with him. And he pretty much offered me on the spot. And I looked at the money and I was just like, man, how can I pass that up? And
Right.
then I was just like, and I quickly looked at my phone to see how Australia was because, I didn't really know too much about Australia. And so I looked at it and it was beautiful. I was like, oh, I'm sold. Like I can sign a contract now. And so I guess from that moment on, it was more about, all right, I'm trying to go chase the bag. I'm gonna chase the bag wherever it takes me. So that's how that happened.
So for you guys that don't know, Casey is. I want to make sure I'm right. I think he is the only player in history, in Australian NBL history, to three-peat, two championships with Perth, and then you left and came back and went to Melbourne.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
And in that would have been if you would have stayed all three or started that season. But anyways, it ended up you being a three-time three-peat. You three-peated three
Right.
championships in a row and with doing it with two different teams. That had to be pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool, bro. Especially that third one. That third one was one of the best ones because you get those critics and those people saying, "Oh, he's not going to three-peat. Oh, he just switched teams." It was the team. The team was the reason why they won. It wasn't him. And then you go to a new team and you do it again, and it's just like, all right, we can't say nothing
Then it's
about
like,
him. Like we can't hate him. We can't hate him. So that was probably the best one because after that, everybody was like, if you want a championship, secret formula, sign Casey. And that was kind of dope.
why did you decide to well, before that, how was the celebration?
Absolutely crazy, bro. I remember when I was in Melbourne, the celebration in Melbourne was probably crazier than Perth because I didn't sleep for 5 days, 4 days straight. It was just all nonstop partying. And we were going to it was 4 days after the championship, and we were supposed to meet our CEO on this little yacht. So he was taking us out on the yacht, nice yacht, bro. It was huge. And me and Casper finally had like fell asleep because we was together pretty much for 5 days straight, and we were just out partying, doing this, going to the casino, doing this, doing that, just living like it was no tomorrow.
Right.
And that was calling us. I was like, yo, where y'all at? Where y'all at? And we just knocked out. We just, just had enough. We just passed out. And so we finally get there and they had to send an extra boat to come pick us up. And I remember getting on a boat and I was like, did y'all finally sleep? And we were like, yeah, we did. And everybody was just so happy for us. They were like, oh, thank God. I'm just so happy you got a little sleep. Jeez, you trying to kill yourself. It was crazy, bro. It was crazy. I wish I had like a documentary, like a film, just follow me everywhere I went.
You
Just
should
to
have got a
see.
body cam or a little GoPro or something like wear on your forehead.
I wish. I wish I did, bro. Wish I did.
Dang, man. So you after you left, you went on to try and give Europe a try, right? A little bit.
Yeah. I mean, each summer, each off season, the postseason, I end up pretty much going to Europe after the Australia season because the Australia season was only like 8 months and Europe still had like too much extra to play. So I used to go over there and just play. And yeah.
You don't have to get into all the details, but you can just sum up but kind of what these last few years, because you alluded to it a little bit of just your injuries that kind of affected you and your career, and how did you persevere through that? How did you for me, I just know that there were moments of doubt, moments where I was like, after having a bad surgery, you know, did I the first time I had a bad surgery, I was like, you know what? I just had a belief in my heart that I had a testimony and a story to prove, not to anyone else, but to myself, that I believe that there was a great purpose in this, even though it sucked, even though I wouldn't have signed up for it to happen in the way it did. That there was something greater, deeper for me to use, and it's easy to point like how unfair it was, but I don't know whoever said that, you know, when you're born, life is gonna be fair. I don't know why people think that. Like this is life for everybody. But now I want to say, like, I still haven't gotten to the point where I say, like, you know, it was the best thing that's happened to me, but it definitely helped mold me and shape me, and to show that if I really want something, if my heart's really in for it, just go for it. Like if I believe, you know, if the worst thing that can happen is just that it just doesn't work out and I just go on and do something else. And I was just so glad that I gave it everything and that it did work out, and that I was able to play again. And I know you have a somewhat similar story. So if you want, please share that with the fans.
Yeah. So after that Australia season, I ended up signing a 4-year contract, a 2-year contract with Kimki in Moscow, Russia, which was, you know, EuroLeague, one of the best teams in EuroLeague at the time, one of the best players. And it was going to be at a very high level. And so once I got there, I had like a little, you know, a screening to see, you know, if everything was good for my body. And everything was good. And they end up making a suggestion saying that they can help my knee if they could just go in and do it like a little small scope. Nothing crazy, just a small scope, this and that. But what ended up happening was while I was under, the doctor ended up doing a completely different surgery on my knee and removing like a big piece of bone from my knee, which was the Osgood Slaughter little bone, you know, the jumper's knee bone. So they ended up removing that. And I guess they anticipated me being back within 2 to 3 weeks because it was supposed to be a minor surgery at that time. But after doing some research, talking to people, it was going to take a little longer. And it actually took me a whole year to just to recover from that. And so from then on, it was just been a constant grind of just trying to, you know, get your body back right, get your body back used to playing basketball. Because if you take a year off of basketball, that's like your body's like, oh, finally, I'm not doing anything. I can relax now. Good.
Right.
And then you go back at it 100 miles per hour. Your body's like, oh, I'm not used to this. I'm not used to this. And so what happened was I jumped back into it. I did all my rehab. I jumped back into it that following year, going to Melbourne. I signed back to Melbourne just to, go somewhere where I was familiar with. I ended up tearing my meniscus. Not playing at all that season. I think I played like 3 games that season. And throughout that whole time, me just trying to get back to where I was, I ended up tearing my meniscus, tearing my hamstring. I think I had like a partial slit disc in my back. And it was just, it was crazy. It was crazy. It was like injury on injury on injury on injury on injury. And I was talking to the Miami Heat doctor, and he was just pretty much saying that, yeah, this is part of the process of you getting back. You know, I'm sorry you have to go this way. I wish you would have came here to do your surgery before you did it in Russia and consulted with me and this and that. I would have told you not to do it and stuff like that. So again, I missed another season. So this is my 2nd year. And that summer I was just, I was upset, throughout that whole process. I was just upset, questioning things that I really shouldn't be questioning. Like, why is this happening to me? Like why do I have to deal with this again? Like, why do I have to deal with some more adversity on top of, overcoming old past obstacles, and I'm just questioning whether basketball was for me. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, I don't know if I can see myself emotionally becoming drained all the time again like that. I can't keep emotionally drained like that. And so I guess I had a moment to myself where I was just, praying and just trying to realize what to do next. And the only thing that made sense was to continue to fight. You know what I mean? That's the only logic behind it, in my opinion. It made sense at the time, was just to fight and persevere through it. And that was either because I was, you know, the most strong-willed person in the world or the dumbest person in the world. But that was just my take on it. Like, just keep fighting and prove to yourself and prove to everyone else that you can bounce back. And so
Yeah.
that summer, I just grinded so hard, bro. I went through so many different rehab practices. I did everything just to try to strengthen my knee. I was talking to the Miami Heat doctor, doctors in Australia, doctors in Russia, and just trying to, you know, figure out what I could do to, you know, bounce back. And it was definitely a long road, but you know, I'm finally at a point where I haven't missed any games this season, knock on wood. And I've been playing at a high level, and I feel like I've been playing better than I was before I got hurt. So, you know, I guess that's a testimony to just staying the course and just, you know, having belief in yourself, belief in your abilities, a belief in your team that's surrounding you, and just, you know, inch at it each day.
I mean, wow. First off, that's incredible testimony. You know, some people have tests. That was a extreme test because you know your mental fortitude, every part. Again, you're an opportunity or a chance to give up, and no one can fault you for that. If you would have been like, you know what, you know, I just don't want to do. I want to do something else. But you decided to go the hard route and stick through with that. And even if it didn't work out, at least you leave no doubt of like, you know, I gave it everything. It just wasn't, you know, just wasn't meant the path. But I mean, it's an awesome testament of faith, of endurance, of the character and person that you are. And who knows how else that, you know, from sixth grade, what you making that decision back when you were in sixth grade to college, to fighting through the adversity in college, like everything, it all amounted. You know, nothing in your journey was for a waste.
Right.
You know, nothing was. And I'm just grateful that I got to be got to be a part of it and see you go through that, because that's inspiring for me. I'm about to go work out after we after we finish this. I'm about to get it in, bro.
Oh man.
But the last thing I wanted to ask you before I let you leave is, yeah, is there what piece of advice would you give, you know, 18-year-old Casey Prather as he's walking in his first day to college at the University of Florida?
Uh, I would tell myself just to, you know, take confidence in knowing that you're in a situation that a lot of people would die for, first and foremost. And then I would tell myself to, you know, step outside of my box and actually look at other avenues to actually better myself as a person and as a player. Work on those, polish the things that you're good at, make them great, and then just continue to work on every other thing outside of your box that you're not actually used to working on to prepare for the challenges that may come and the role that may come. And I tell myself that I'm proud of where you come from, and I'm proud of where you're going, and I can't wait to take the journey with you.
Wow. I ain't gonna lie, bro. This is probably one of my favorite episodes that I've gotten to do, and just getting a chance to dive into all those things, seeing you grow, seeing, you know, because I saw you, you know, when you're fresh from Tennessee. Got to see you as a senior, you know, through your 4 years of college, seeing you a little bit after college, and now seeing where you are now, being hardened through the adversity. Uh, it comes down to work. It comes down to mentality. It comes down to belief in
Right.
yourself, and not letting the hurdles and obstacles stop you, and having the right people around you that can help push you and continue to encourage you. Because I don't think anyone can accomplish anything on their own. You can have willpower and start, but sometimes everybody needs that little, come on, man, you're on the right path. Keep going. Keep doing
Right.
it. But anyways, I got to close us out, man. That was an awesome hour of some time, of a podcast, of getting into your life, getting into you as a Gator. Do you have practice again today?
Oh yeah, man. I got practice in about an hour and 30
Okay.
minutes. Back
Well,
to
I'm
grind
there
never
with you.
stops, man.
It doesn't stop. The grind doesn't stop, man. It's always work. It's always about mindset and your intention. So I want to encourage you to go out there with intention today. Hopefully I can send you a little boost all the way here from Jacksonville, Florida. But everyone, that was Casey Prather. The answer to that trivia question, by the way, is Nick Calif and Teddy Dupay. They're the only Teddy Dupay, Casey Prather, and Nick Calif are the three that have scored 27 points in a single season under Billy Donovan. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for your time. Guys, remember to share and subscribe. This was the Young and the Rowdies episode with the one and only Casey Prather. Everyone in Gator Nation and all around the world, stay rowdy.